This is a video that's going to help you with dividing fractions and mixed numbers. Now, dividing fractions and mixed numbers is almost like multiplying. The only thing you have to do is you have to remember to flip the second number and multiply. So the first one, if I'm doing that, what I do is another way to think of it is copy, change, flip. So I copy the first fraction, 7/9, change division to multiplication, and then flip, 15/14. Okay? So I copy, change, flipped it, or dividing fractions, oh my, just flip the second fraction and multiply. Now I can reduce it. If I look on the top and the bottom, I have a 7 and a 14, and 7 divides both of those. 7 divided by 7 is 1, 14 divided by 7 is 2. And then if I look at 9 and 15, 3 is going to divide both those numbers. 15 divided by 3 is 5, 9 divided by 3 is 3. Now I can multiply the top and multiply the bottom. 1 times 5 is 5. 3 times 2 is 6. So when I divide those two, I end up getting 5, 6 for the first one. The second one is just like the first one. What you have to do is copy, change, and flip it, and then reduce and multiply. So go ahead and try that, and then turn off, pause the recording, go ahead and try it, and then we'll check it after you try it. Okay, let's see how you did. So I have to copy, change, flip it, or flip the second number and multiply. So I'm going to write it as 4/5 times 25/18. That's my copy, change, flip. Now I'm going to reduce it. If I look in the top and the bottom, I have a 5 and a 25, and I know 5 divides both of those. I can tell 5 divides a number if the number ends in a 0 or 5. So 25 divided by 5 will be 5. 5 divided by 5 will be 1. My other two numbers, I have a 4 and an 18. And they're both even, so I know 2 divides both of those two numbers. 4 divided by 2 is just 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Now I can multiply the top and multiply the bottom. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 9 is 9. And now it's an improper fraction, so I have to ask myself how many 9s are in 10. And there's 1 9 in 10 with 1 9th remaining. Okay, now we're going to do some that are a little different. When I have mixed numbers, I have to do just like I did with multiplying. I have to change the mixed numbers to improper fractions. Then I have to invert, and then I can multiply. So if I'm doing this one, let's change the improper fractions, or change the mixed numbers to improper fractions. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 5 is 21. So that becomes 21/8, divided by 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15. So it's going to become, after I change them improper fractions, 21/8 divided by 15 divided by 4. So now let's change it to a multiplication problem. So I have to copy, change, flip, or flip the second number and multiply. So if I do that, it's going to be 21/8. That's the copy. I changed division to multiplication, and I flip that. Now I can reduce it and then multiply, because I don't want to multiply such big numbers and try to reduce those big numbers. I'd rather reduce them when they're smaller and then multiply smaller numbers. So if I look at 4 and 8, 4 divides them both. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And I look at 21 and 15. 3 divides both of those. 21 divided by 3 is 7. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Now I can multiply the top and multiply the bottom. And I have 7 times 1, which is 7, and 2 times 5, which is 10. So that's going to become 7/10. Now you're going to try a couple on your own, and then so you're going to pause the recording and see if you can do them. So let's pause and try and do 22. Remember, you have to change them to improper fractions first, and then after you change them to improper fractions, you're going to copy, change, and flip. So go ahead and try that. Okay, let's see I did a number 22. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 10 times 7, which is 70, plus 3 is 73 tenths, divided by 5/1, because 5/1 is the same thing as 5. Now I'm going to copy, change, flip it, So I copy, change, and flip, and then I'll reduce. Well, 73 and 5 and 73 and 10, there's nothing I can divide for that. So I'm just going to multiply the top and multiply the bottom. 73 times 1 is 73. 10 times 5 is 50. So I have 73 divided by 50. There's 150 in 73 with 23 50ths remaining. So my answer for that one is 1 and 23 50ths. Go ahead and try 23. So pause the recording and try and do number 23 on your own, and then I'll go over it. So pause the recording and give it a try. Okay, let's see how we did with this one. So remember, the first step is to change it to an improper fraction. Change my mixed numbers to improper fractions. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 is 25 thirds. Divided by 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3 is 15 fourths. Now I got to copy, change, flip it. So it's going to be 25 thirds times 4 fifteenths. And now I can reduce. The 4 and the 3, they don't reduce at all. They're already at relatively prime, or they can't reduce those numbers. They don't have any common factors. The 25 and 15, they do have a common factor. They both end in a 5, so I know 5 divides in both. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So now I can multiply the top and the bottom. 5 times 4 is 20. 3 times 3 is 9. It's an improper fraction right now. I got to change it back to a mixed number. How many 9s are there in 20? Well, there's going to be 2 9s in 20, and that gets me to 18, so there's going to be 2 9ths remaining. So that answer is 2 and 2 9ths. So now you're going to do the last one. So pause the recording and see if you can do 24. Remember, you have to change it in improper fractions, then you copy, change, flip, then you reduce, and then you can multiply. And if you have to, then you have to change it back to a mixed number. So go ahead and try number 24. Stop the recording and try it. Let's see how we did on number 24. So change them both to improper fractions. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 4 is 39 fifths, divided by 10 times 1 is 10, plus 3 is 13 tenths. So now it's a division problem, and I got to change it to a multiplication problem by copy, change, flipping. So I copy, change, and flip. Okay, now I can reduce it. So if I reduce it, I see 5 and 10. I can divide those both by 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And then I have 39 and 13. And I know that 13 divides both of those two. 13 divided by 13 is 1. 39 divided by 13 is 3. So let's multiply the top and multiply the bottom. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. So my answer for the last one should be 6. And that is how you divide mixed numbers and fractions.